Hey beautiful people, welcome or welcome back again to the channel. It is Dale here and I am your captain. So firstly, I want to say a big thank you for all your well wishes, your congratulatory messages on my previous video on how I got my visa. I am so overwhelmed. I am grateful to have you all here sharing me up. Thank you all so much. I'm dedicating this video to you all so that you can have an idea on all the whole process. Bear in mind that I am not an immigration lawyer, I'm not an immigration agent. I am only sharing my own experience. I'm hoping it helps the next person as well. I'm going to start with saying the documents that are needed for the 186 visa. All this information I'm going to be giving are also on immigration websites, so please check them out. So I'm going to divide this video into two parts so that it's not too overwhelming at the stretch for you to watch, because I want you to get all the points very well. So the first part, which is this one you're watching, would be about the documentation process, and also it will be about how I got my own documents, and the second part, which will be in the next video. So subscribe if you're not yet to subscribe. So it will be in the next video, will be about the step-by-step guide on how I applied. Okay, so make sure you are subscribed and you turn on your notification bell. Also do me a favor by liking this video if you find it useful. Okay, so the first thing you need is you need to be nominated by an employer. This means you need to get a job, right? So I have already done a video on my channel about how I got a job or how you can get a job. Okay, so when you get a job, your employer needs to nominate you for a 186 visa. So that nomination aspect is done strictly by your employer. You don't need to do anything. They will do the nomination, and when your nomination has been approved, they will send you a form saying that your nomination has been approved. Now this is just like the UK COS, where the just like the certificate of sponsorship, okay, but this is called the employer nominated subclass visa. So when you get that nomination form from your employer, you have to keep it because you will need it for your application. Okay, you also need to meet the English requirement. Either they accept OET, they accept PTE, they accept IELTS. For me, I did the PTE. So that is because English language tests only last for about 3 years. However, mine has already expired by the time I was doing my application, so I had to do another exams for English language. So yes, you do need an English language test even if you are a registered nurse in the UK. You don't need it for all your registration, your AFRA, your ANMAC, but you need it for 186 visa. So if you have your English language test and it's still valid at the time you're making your application process, you don't need to write anyone. But if it is not valid anymore, it is expired, you need to write a new one. So I did the PTE. I think for the PTE you need a minimum of 50 in each band. For the IELTS you need a minimum of 6 in each band. So for OET you need a minimum of B in each band. Why I went for the PTE is because number one, the PTE result comes out in 1 week, less than a week. I think I got it in 5 days. When I was making my research, people have always said that PT is quite easier to get through. I only studied for like a week or 2 weeks, and I wasn't really even serious. I think I only watched E2 language on YouTube. PTE, they have PTE. I'm going to put the videos on the screen so you know. E2 language's video on PTE, they were very simplified. Those were the only things I listened and watched. And then I did some few practice questions on E2 language as well, and I was able to get my required score. I think I even scored too high, safe. But yeah, that's it. The next requirement is you need to be below 45 years. Now there are some exemptions. You need to be a scientist, a professor, and all that. It's on the website. I'm going to put it on the screen as well. Majorly, you need to be below 45 to qualify for this particular visa. Next requirement you need is you need to have the necessary skills for the job. Of course, before your employer would nominate you, it means you meet the skill requirements. For nurses, I had to go through the ANMAC process. I have a video on the whole process on ANMAC, which I did myself, and I'll leave the link also in the description box. You can check that video out. Another major requirement is you need to have 3 years minimum work experience. Next requirement is you need to meet the character requirements. So before you can become an Australian permanent resident, you need to be of good character, so they need to do a background check. Now if you are in the UK, what I did was the Agro Police check. So you need to go on the Agropolis website, download the form. When you download the form, you fill in all the requirements that are there and you have to submit it via email. It was really simple for me. I just had to scan and then upload it, send it via email, send your passport biodata and also a passport photograph. You have to do this via email, and then they will contact you. So they have a lot of waiting period, and mine took about a month before I was able to get my police clearance. So I advise you to do it quite on time. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it takes about 12 months before your police clearance would expire. Please don't quote me, but I did it almost when I was going to apply. Every other country you've lived in, you need to get a police clearance for that. So I have lived in the Philippines, and I've lived in Nigeria, and I'm currently in the UK. So I had to get police clearance for these 3 countries. If you go for vacation, you don't need to get clearance for those countries, because oh my god, I can imagine how many countries have I been to, and how would I get all the police clearance for those countries I've gone on vacation. So no, if you go on vacation, that is fine, you don't need to provide. I think it's only when you've lived in that country consecutively for more than 6 months. Again, do not quote me, but I'll put it on the screen. How it is done is when you put all your history of where you've lived for the past 10 days, it is the government that is going to ask you which one they think you need to provide a police clearance certificate. So you don't need to worry about that. And some of you will ask, how was I able to get the one in the Philippines? Well, what I did was I had to go to the embassy here in the UK, Philippine embassy, and I did my thumb printing, and they sent it to the Philippines, and then they sent it back to me here in the UK. It's the same process again for Nigeria and every other country you have lived. You don't need to go back to the country physically. You can easily just get it in the country you are currently in and get them to do it via the embassy, or the consular will be able to assist you. You also need to meet the health requirements. So before you can be given an Australian PR visa, you need to meet the health requirements. If you go on the immigration website, after you've done your whole application, they will give you what we call the HAP ID, HAP ID. So with that HAP ID, it's a unique number that you need to register for your health assessment check. There are some specific hospitals you get your health clearance done. You don't just walk into any hospital and tell them you want to get your health clearance done. No. So for me, what I did was I went to the immigration website and checked the UK hospitals. So there are about 4 hospitals. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep it on the screen. So just select any one and then tap on it, and then fill the application form, apply to get your health assessment done. They are going to request for your HAP ID. So make sure you have that ready. When you apply, then they will give you dates that are available. It takes a while as well, so make sure you plan well ahead for that. When you book for your appointment, assessment, physical examination, like the doctor did a physical examination on me, checked like everywhere, like yeah. And then a blood test, x-ray, they check for tuberculosis. If you also have a past immunization record, you can just give it to the hospital there to upload it. For me, I work in the hospital, so I do have those things. So I just presented it to them, and then they uploaded it for me. You can also upload it yourself. When they do the test at the clinic, you don't have to send it to the immigration. They will forward it directly to immigration, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. And it is expensive, okay? I'm going to talk about that in the part 2 where the whole application is, okay? These are all the requirements that I provided, or that are required by the immigration for my own visa. Bear in mind that it can be case-to-case basis. It depends on how you're applying. For me, because I'm applying with my husband, I had to provide other certificates like the marriage certificate. I had to provide also proof that we live together, like my tenancy agreement that we are living together. I also had to provide like pictures, photograph of our wedding and all that. Upload as much evidence as you have so that you don't get your spouse visa denied. I'm very, very strict with the immigration law, so I made sure I uploaded all the court wedding pictures and all that. All the times we went on vacation, I uploaded all those pictures. Yes, guys. I'm not taking chances. I don't want to say that I've been approved and then my husband was not approved. So yes, upload as much evidence. See, there are lots and lots of space for you to upload as much evidence as you can. So if people have a joint account, upload it. If you have anything that connects both of you, if you have a business together in your name, provide all of that. And also partners English is very important. You go on the immigration website, you're going to see where they say your partner has to meet the English requirement as well. What you have to do is either your partner writes IELTS PTE, okay. I think they need a minimum of 30 in each band for PTE and 5 for IELTS. I'm not sure, but I'll put it on the screen as well. But for my husband, he's got a BSc and he's got a master's degree. All these were taught in English, so he didn't have to write any of those English exams. So what he did was to get a letter from his school to say that he was taught in English and majority of them in the school speaks English. And also we got his transcript, okay, his transcript from both his BSc and his masters, and he's got his license as well, all of them in English. That was what we got and it was fine, okay. He also had to do the health test as well. He also had to do the police clearance. If you've got children, I think they might need that as well, but I'm not 100% sure about children because I didn't apply with any minor. I'm only speaking for myself and my husband, what we did, okay. So yeah, these are basically the documents that are required. Of course, did I forget to mention you need your international passport? Yeah. Why would I forget international passport? I think this should be first. But anyway, I feel like this is basic knowledge. Anybody looking to travel already know that you need an international passport. So yeah. So make sure you like this video and see you in the next part where I talk about my whole application process.